Lakers. You surprised, though, Kyrie decided to return to Brooklyn after all that?
Well, I'm shocked at how this whole thing went down, but maybe I shouldn't be because, oh, God, dog it, man. I mean, Brew called it. Brew gave the Nets the blueprint. They followed the blueprint, and they got exactly, at least for the time being, what they wanted. Brew said, draw a hard line, treat them like a stern parent would, and you will be rewarded. And I said, oh, you're playing a dangerous game. You're going to lose them both. Kyrie's going to dangle the Knicks as leverage. Kyrie's going to dangle the fact that he's an irrational actor and might take $6 million from the Lakers as leverage. And Brew kept saying they have no leverage, that Kyrie has no leverage, pardon me, and that you could possibly get Kyrie on a very short deal. And I got to tell you something, audience. Each and every day I left the shows and I was like, Brew is out of his mind. Brew keeps saying the same thing, and it's dumber each time, and then it happens. So, yeah, I mean, I'm shocked, but maybe I shouldn't be. I mean, Brew, what do they say? Broken clock, right twice a day. Brew's now gotten two things very right that I've gotten very wrong in the last month, which I don't know if that bodes well for the rest of 2022 for him, but he's on a bit of a hot streak. Brew, you called it. I give you credit. They did what you said they should do, and for the time being, it appears to have worked for them.
Nick, I'm amazed at how you can make a compliment feel like an insult. Because I'm not sure what to make of what you just said. I don't know if I should take it as a tribute or take it as an insult or whatever. But the bottom line, Nick, was he had no leverage. And Kyrie understood he had no leverage. And so over the past 2 weeks, he's smart. You might say he's odd, he's quirky, he's zany, but he's smart. And so the last 2 weeks, what he did was try to create leverage. All right? Put it out there that he would go to the Lakers for $6 million a year. I mean, and look, most players couldn't have even put that out there, right? Most players, you put that out there, please, that's not even close. But because of Kyrie's antics in the past, people were like, you know what? He might do that. He might take a $30 million pay cut because he's mad that the team won't give him more money that he wants. So people were thinking that. And then he puts out this list of teams he'd like to go to. Problem was, most of those teams didn't want him. None of them wanted him except the desperate Lakers. And the Nets understood it. The one bit of leverage Kyrie would have had was if his buddy Kevin Durant had gone to the Nets and been like, look, without Kyrie, I'm out. Give him the 5 years or at least lock him up for as long as I'm here, 4 years, or trade me. But the Nets knew this, Nick. And there was a report yesterday before Kyrie's opt-in that the Nets were even willing to sacrifice Kevin Durant to get back control of their franchise. Well, I think what they knew, Nick, insane, and I think you'll listen to me today. They knew they had leverage with Kevin Durant. These teams keep buckling to the players, and I'm all for player empowerment. But let's keep it real. The founder, if you will, of this iteration of player empowerment, LeBron James, plays out his contracts. He never had situations like this. He plays out his contract. He does it the right way, and when he's a free agent, he goes where he wants to. Or he signs a 1-year deal, so I have my options. And so these other players are trying to have player empowerment without doing it the professional way that LeBron does it. So the Nets knew even with Durant, Nick, we still got you locked up for 4 years. You're 34. Are you really going to sit out a season? Are you really going to do that? Are you really going to risk us sending you to Oklahoma City Wilds or Sacramento? We'll send you anywhere. So the only reason these teams buckle Wilds is because they're weak. They have leverage. They just always give in to the players. And kudos to the Nets for standing strong and taking control of the house again. Being the parent, if you will.
being the parent. Broussard, that is your most elder statesman take of all of your elder statesman takes.
In our analogies, not the parent, but in our analogies, yes.
No, I know. I'm just going to say, Nick, and I know you put this out here, and you told a nice fable about your radio days when you were like, I was in Kansas City and I felt disrespected, so I went to Houston.
Yeah,
you told us
I left.
You were insulted, and you're like, even if the money is that I'm going to go. And I just let it play out because it was a nice story, your origin story, if you will, on how you became the take superhero that you are today. But the one flaw in it was, and that's why I turned down $30 million. Like, what? That was never going to happen. It was never going to happen. You could be $30 mad at somebody. You could be $3,000 mad. You could even be you could be $30,000 mad at somebody. Where you're like, you know what? I don't want that house is a good deal. I don't even want that house because I don't like the neighbor. You cannot be $30 million mad at someone. It just doesn't exist. So the idea that he was going to go to L.A. and deal with those frisky, pesky California taxes and get his check, which was going to be as mount as like a high-end dentist, I just was not buying it at all one iota. So yes, the Nets held their ground. But this wasn't, the Cuban Missile Crisis. There wasn't a lot of leverage on Kyrie's side.
I understand there might not have been leverage. However, Wilds, Kyrie was more than $30 million mad at Nike, and he was $20 million mad at Science. So the idea that he couldn't be $30 million mad at the Nets, because, to Brew's point, because it was Kyrie, it was believable. And I fear I might fall off the screen here in just a moment. I need to sit up and call it. I don't know what's going on. I'm not done talking yet. Director, please. I have something else to say here. You're not going to. What's the thing they do with the Apollo with the big hook?
Can we get a little hype for Nick?
You're not pulling me off the screen. I would like to say something to the group about what happened here and then something about with Brew. The other thing that happened here is the Knicks kind of killed whatever leverage he might have by making it clear, we are clearing out cap space for a guard, but it's Jalen Brunson, not Kyrie Irving. Because when you and I were going back and forth and you kept saying, where's he going to go? Before the Lakers thing became a real thing that people thought might happen, I kept saying the Knicks. And I kept saying they can clear the cap space. And they showed on draft day they are in the process of clearing cap space. It's just not for Kyrie Irving. However, Wilds, you said that Brew's, it's the most elder statesman take. But you know what? Self-awareness is important. And all of us, and I'm not revealing any confidences, but Jenna, you and I do have something in common. We off the air occasionally. We love our children, but off the air, we might vent to each other that, oh man, kids can be a bit of a handful at times. Screen time this, iPad that, not listening to us. You know who I've never heard say a single bad word about his kids? Chris Broussard. Both Ivy League graduates, essentially, just captains of industry. So maybe when it comes to the how to run the household, how to have the stern hand, maybe we could learn from Chris Broussard. I'm open to it. I'm open to anything because at this point, Bruce said, I'm drawing a line in the sand and I'm not going to flinch. And I said, you're going to end up with everyone's going to leave you, Brew. And now all of a sudden his Nets are back. We're about to talk about it. His Clippers might be back. It's all coming up Brew this morning. It's unbelievable. I really am annoyed by it, but it's all coming up Broussard.
But see, here's the thing. I want to say thank you, Nick, but I'm not sure. Because I sensed in that take, you're trying to get me, you're goading me, you're pushing me. Go ahead. Take the Clippers in the West. And the Nets in the East.
To.
Pick the Clippers and the Nets in the finals, bro.
You think it's not going to be Clippers Nets for the third straight year? Oh, that's going to happen.
I am not thinking that. Right now. I got
Write it in stone, America.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.